We have waited 3 years for these sneakers. Was it worth it? Let's find out. Back in 2020, the sneaker and fashion world got really excited when it was announced that Adidas had signed a long-term partnership with Fear of God founder Jerry Lorenzo. Considering how well received his previous work at Nike was and also the mainstream popularity of his brand, there was definitely a lot of reasons to be excited about this partnership. Well, going into 2023, Fear of God had given us as many sneakers with Adidas as, well, I have, which is 0. But now we finally got our first pair, and in this video I'll be reviewing the Adidas Fear of God Athletics 86 Low. So after a long wait, these sneakers finally released on December the 3rd on the Fear of God website, and it released the following day on the Adidas Confirmed app. The retail price on these was $200 or 200 euros. And as of the time of me making this video, there's still a full size run available on the Fear of God website as well as Adidas. The pair I have is the clay colorway, which was the only one that was available on the Confirmed Europe app. To be honest, I did like the other two colorways better. We got the talc colorway, which is a very light gray color, and also we got the sesame pair, which I have to admit is very similar looking to the talc, but it's like a darker shade of gray. Kind of reminds me of what Yeezy brand used to do, releasing sneakers in slightly different tonal shades, even though it's kind of hard to tell these differences sometimes. Additionally, this week the Fear of God Athletics 1 basketball sneaker dropped on the Confirmed app, which I know a lot of people were quite excited about. And alongside the sneakers, we also got the first drop of the Fear of God Athletics clothing, which based on people's reactions online, it seems like the majority of people were quite disappointed with that drop just based on the prices. I guess most of you guys were expecting the prices to be similar to the Fear of God Essentials line, but that is clearly not what Jerry Lorenzo and Adidas had in mind with this partnership. According to Adidas, the focus of the Fear of God Athletics line is combining functional performance technology with a luxury aesthetic. Let me know down in the comments, what did you guys think about the first installment of the clothing line? This partnership also marks the third brand of this Fear of God empire, let's call it. You got the mainline Fear of God label, then you have the more affordable alternative, which is of course Essentials, and now you have Fear of God Athletics, which is supposed to be the performance luxury line. But we're here to talk about sneakers, so let's get into the first sneaker to release, which is the 86 Low. It's a sneaker which is based on the Adidas Rivalry Low 86, which was originally a basketball sneaker that is now mainly used as a lifestyle shoe. You gotta admit, Adidas did a pretty good job here giving that sneaker a Fear of God makeover. You definitely get that minimalist luxury look here, which to me is the foundation of the Fear of God design language. Let's start off with the box. So I was surprised to see that the box actually comes within another box, and on this outer box there's pretty much no branding at all, but you do actually have the size label on the outer box. And looking at the actual box itself, once again, barely any branding on the box, a very tonal colorway all around, but you do have that Fear of God Athletics logo right in the middle of the box, which is, I guess, Jerry Lorenzo's take on the three stripes logo. More on that a little bit later about where that was inspired by. Getting into the shoes, so when I did get these shoes out of the box, my first thought was, yeah, these do feel kind of heavy. My guess is a lot of that has to do with this very chunky midsole, but let's start off with the upper first. The upper is made out of this washed suede, which does feel very, very soft, I have to say. Definitely does give off quite a premium feeling, and there is no contrasting elements on the upper at all. It's pretty much just one color throughout the upper, including on the tongue, which is made out of that same suede material, and it's somewhat of a padded tongue. Also, really barely any branding at all on the upper. You do have the three stripes, of course, and the Adidas Trefoil logo at the back, but they are quite muted, which I think is great. It makes the shoe quite wearable, and you can really wear these with a lot of different outfits. You get these very thick round laces with the shoe done in that same tonal clay color, and there's a lace tie that comes along with it, a rubberized plastic lace tie, where you also see that unique Fear of God Athletics logo, which is basically 3 vertical stripes. And from what I read, this was actually inspired by the early Adidas Predator football shoes from the 90s, which did have a similar logo on the heel. And in case you're interested, you also do get some additional cream laces with this pair, and I'm pretty sure these cream laces come with all of the different colorways. Moving down to maybe the most interesting part of the shoe, and that is of course the midsole. Now if you look at pretty much all the work that Jerry Lorenzo has done in the past, whether it's his Nike sneakers or even his work with Vans shoes. He's always had these very chunky looking midsoles that you can tell almost kind of merge with the upper, and he's done it yet again. Like, look at the toe box, you can see the upper kind of go above the toe box in a way. Also, just in case you saw this very chunky midsole and you thought, oh wow, this shoe might add a lot of height, it's really not the case, because the midsole really does go over the upper quite a bit. Like when you have your foot in the shoe, I would say the bottom of your foot is like right around there on the midsole, so it's not really adding too much height. I do really like the color of the midsole though, that cream contrasting really nicely with the tonal clay upper. There's also some traction on the bottom on the outsole, but I wouldn't say it's like world-class traction or anything. There's some branding on the midsole as well, so you have the Adidas written on the lateral side of the sneaker, and then on the heel you have this black tab which does have the Fear of God branding on there. Let me know what you guys think of that contrasting black tab on the heel. From a comfort point of view, I was hoping that maybe because this is a more of a premium sneaker, they might have added some extra cushioning here, but it's not really the case. There's basically no cushioning on this shoe, so it does feel quite firm on feet. If you were expecting some of that softer cushioning that you've gotten on Yeezys before or on some Boost sneakers, well, you're not getting that on this pair. And when it comes to sizing, so I actually ended up getting two pairs of these. I got one in my true size and I got one a half size up, just because I didn't know what was the right sizing and I wanted to give you guys the best advice. I first wore these in my true size, and I have to say it's kind of a weird feeling on feet, because my initial reaction was, wait, my toes do feel quite squeezed in here. However, there was still a bit of room in the toe box, which made no sense to me. I was wondering, why is my toes feeling squeezed in, yet we also have some room in the toe box? And that really does seem to be because of this very pointy toe box on the sneaker, which personally I will say I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't really like how that looks visually, and it does also feel a bit strange on feet. Like I said, you can definitely kind of feel that extra space at the top, but the rest of the shoe does feel quite fine. I tried going a half size up, and definitely I wouldn't recommend going a half size up, because then there's just way too much room in the toe box. So true to size definitely seems to be the best way to go here, but I would like to hear your sizing experience. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I don't think going half down is the solution as well, because like I was saying, even at true to size, my toes felt kind of squeezed in, so I can only imagine them feeling worse a half size down. Overall, my thoughts on the Adidas Fear of God Athletics 86 Low. So I do think this is a great quality sneaker, and it's very clearly a Fear of God shoe, so you will appreciate it simply if you are a fan of that brand. I do think it's a bit pricey though. For that price range of around $200, I feel like there's just a lot more better cushioned shoes out there, and it does kind of seem like the majority of you guys feel the same way, because this shoe did not sell out in any of the colorways. $200 for these I think is a lot to ask for. However, if you were trying to get these for below retail, what I typically do is I will go on StockX and put bids in for below retail, and a lot of the times they do end up getting hit, so I would say try your luck. I will leave a StockX link in the description. There is one main reason though why I do like this sneaker, and that's because I've said this in a lot of other videos before. My favorite type of shoe is the subtle flex. Shoes that don't really have too much going on, however, you know, and those who know, they're definitely special. These are not no ordinary 86 lows. And Fear of God has always been really good at making those kind of sneakers. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. What did you think about the first installment of the Adidas and Fear of God partnership? Were these sneakers worth the wait? If you haven't already followed me on Instagram, by the way, what are you waiting for? I am uploading content on there every single day. It's probably the platform where I am the most active, and I respond to all of you who DM me, so make sure you follow me on there. The handle is in the description. And while you're at it, check out my sneaker podcast as well. The links to that can be found in the description. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.